Um, Something bothered me today when I was on the web and I saw this Tony Braxton interview. I'm just sick of these entertainers constantly having to shine a negative light on the whole black culture so they can, continue on with their, 50 seconds of fame, their minute of fame, or whatever we want to call it. But as we get into, why Tony Braxton said such a thing that was really detrimental to, black women and how we're being stereotyped and put into a category of not being able to get along, bickering, et cetera, we need to really understand the changing landscape of television, especially throughout the new millennium. First we were outsourcing a lot of our projects to Canada. We had the exchange dollar rate that was saving money. We had the tax benefits that were saving money. And if you're able to get Canadian actors or actresses, you can even save more money in tax benefits. So, the dual citizenship actor, they actually became a high commodity. And it actually splintered the production here in Los Angeles. That was the beginning of being splintered. Then next thing you know, you got the rise of reality television from scripted television. And the opportunities, especially the black people, became more limited. And so the opportunities that were still available, that's when you start to see a depiction of how black people, disguised as reality, were actually being showcased. We saw this much in the Flavor of Love and the I Love New York and those type of reality series, the Ray J and et cetera, where you start seeing these women, in the case of Flavor, fighting over this guy who nobody really thinks is cute, but they're going through all these antics, they're fighting one another, they're bickering, being bitchy, and all these kind of like stereotypes in order to get this guy Flavor of Love. And so, that was the first proliferation where we start to see the degradation of the black culture, of how we were being represented. And then the next thing you know, you get the writer's strike. And the writer's strike is in 2007. And, that kind of cripples the industry here in Los Angeles too. The opportunities available to seasoned veterans in the TV field, they start to see that dwindling. So they're actually monopolizing, getting their family, because there's a lot of nepotism going on here, getting their friends and family more ingrained into their, their particular television space, which even limit more opportunities for black people. So, and then let's not even talk about the record business and, the downloads that kind of, took all the profits out of the record business, because the record business was spending a lot of money in Los Angeles, especially some of these music videos, $500,000, millions, they had large budgets. I had a good client at the time, Warner Brothers, that over time I lost. So, records spend a lot of money. And so that opportunities was gone. So now what's left, you have an environment for black people that's really in a desperation. People are realizing that there's a lack of opportunities, and there's this desperation factor, like, okay, in order to get on TV, I've got to agree to do certain things. I got to also agree to get rid of my soul, sell my soul, whatever you want to call it. But now I've got to sell the soul of my audience and my fans and make them, do these things that are detrimental to their health, wealth, and, well-being. And then not only do I have to do that, and we're starting to see that more recently with the Harriet Tubman, the Malcolm X and the Nicki Minaj and the Martin Luther King, freedom to twerk bullshit. We're starting to see that now you have to disgrace the legacy of black people in order to, become a vehicle in the entertainment world. So these are the prices that our entertainers are having to pay, and they're willingly making this payment so that they can continue and let their flame sparkle for long. So now let's get back to the whole Toni Braxton stuff. She's in, Black, or Orange is the New Black. That wonderful show on Netflix I love. Well, she's a new member in that cast. And, Toni Braxton, we don't know her from an acting point of view. I don't even really ever seen her act. I see her little reality TV bullshit. But the significance of that is, which is what I'm saying, in order for her to pay her debt to society, she had to say what she said about black women and make it look like it was a joke, and continue to stereotype that black women can't get along, that black women are argumentative, that black women are real catty, that we really, are, and I've been seeing a lot of that on the web, how, we really as black women, and I can't say we, but how black women are being depicted as really being catty and not being very confrontational, especially with their ex, and really trying to stick it to them and not really looking for the well-being of their family, especially if you have children under those circumstances. So Toni Braxton is feeding into that, and she has to do that in order to be in, Orange is the New Black. And we're seeing this over and over with all kind of entertainers. We just saw this last week from Nicki Minaj. This will become like a weekly, guide to like, hey, pick up your weekly guide to black people and how we can ruin our legacy and how we can degrade our culture. But I'm going to be on TV because it's all about me, and I want to do anything to continue on my 50 frames a second. Well, I'm going to tell you this to all you black entertainers. I'm going to tell you to Nelly. I'm going to tell you to Puffy. I'm going to tell you to Russell Simmons. I'm going to tell you to Nicki Minaj. And now I'm telling you to Toni Braxton. I got one thing to say to you. I'm out.
Nothing but degrading your people. Man, you ain't gonna make it in this goddamn capitalistic system by just trying to think about yourself. We gotta unite as a people, man. We gotta come together, not just black people, white people. I'm talking about people who are poor. I'm talking about people who are working hard.
Cigarettes, surgeries, and most importantly, insecurity.
The models that we see in the magazines have been airbrushed, have been retouched. Their skin is